What's going on, BenchWarmers? Welcome back to another. That I didn't scare you this time, Marco?
No, I'm good.
I was hoping I would. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I am one of your hosts, as always. My name is Erik, the Interrupter. Alongside of me, Marco. I'm Erik, the Instigator. Marco's the Interrupter. Diego's the Satchel, and second to no one, Josue is on. And for those of you who watch the interview, you'll get the reference. If not, then you just went right over your head. But Dyer, what's going on? Jose, it's been a while, man. You've been MIA. We missed you, bro. How you been?
I've been good. It has been a while. I've been hiding under a rock, especially after what I said in November. But no, in all honesty, I've been trying to catch up on work, more hours. I've been going to the gym, trying to get back into the rhythm and having myself keep my mindset.
Nice, man. I know Spurs need a lot of help, so I could see why you're trying extra hard to get onto the pitch sooner than later. But look, you know what? I'm coming to realize. I feel like the bench is like somewhere where we come to jinx ourselves. Last season, I said Arsenal are going to be top 4. We're looking good. We're fucking 11th place. You said Spurs are going to win the trophy back in December. You're what, 7th place, I think, if I'm mistaken?
8th.
And about a few weeks ago, Diego said United won the title. Now Man City have pretty much done and dusted with it. I think this is a spot where we come to jinx ourselves.
I think we have to have Johnny Golem here for Man City to start going down. But at the same time, he's not that much of a fan. So I think he'll only boost them.
He's a bandwagon fan. He's a bandwagon fan.
Fan.
Let's get that straight. I know he's not listening, but if he ever does listen to this, Johnny Golem, you're a bandwagon fan. But before we get into today's episode, let's get into all the house cleaning that we got to do as usual. Darius, it's been a while since he's been here. I'll keep calling you Darius. I'm gonna call you Darius from going on forward. I'm sorry. It's too hard for me to go back.
That's fine.
Where can they listen to us?
It's been a while, bro. You really gonna ask me?
I'll give you an easier one. Where can they watch us?
On YouTube. BenchWarmers FC TV.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for real. Diego, where can they hear us?
They can listen to all of our latest episodes, including this podcast right now and our fantasy episodes each week by searching up BenchWarmers FC on your favorite podcasting platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts.
And Marco, where can they email us?
They can email us at BenchWarmers.
And you're on mute. So you can email us at bench@benchwarmersfc.com. And you can also give us a like, a follow. Let us know if you want to join the bench, when you want to hop on. Give us a comment. Give us all that good stuff. BenchWarmers FC1, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Marco, Mike, check again. You there?
1, 2.
Oh, still mute. All right. So we'll just go on right ahead. So we'll kick off this episode.
Yeah, you look so confused.
I like Marco's confused.
I wish if you're listening to this, please go on to our YouTube and watch this moment in time when Marco just looks completely lost because he was working 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, which is funny. I don't know why. But
I think that's a good meme. That's a good meme for all of us when we make our predictions and then it all goes up in flames. It's like,
what did I say? What? I feel you.
I appreciate the fact that you told me now and not when I have like this whole thing that I want to say. I actually had nothing to say, but anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
so we'll kick it off with this weekend's matchups. Now it's been it's so many stories to go from here, So I think let's kick it off with the games that happened on. I believe Friday was the kickoff of the week, or was it Saturday?
Friday.
There was a game on Friday, but it was a game on Friday, right? What was it?
Wolves
Leeds.
Leeds game against Southampton.
No, Wolves Leeds.
Wolves Leeds.
Wolves Leeds.
Yeah, Wolves Leeds were ended 1-0. Quickly, guys, how would you, if you were a Leeds fan, you waited so long for your team to get up here. Now you're in the midst of a pandemic season where you can't even go to the stadium and watch your team play after you waited all this time to only see results go the way they have been going for them. How would you feel as a fan? Do you want to go into the stadium? I mean, of course you want to go into the stadium, but are you as excited? Or is it more like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to get today?
I'll take this one because it's like, I think just the fact that they were promoted, a lot of Leeds fans would be dying to be in the stadium. But I think for any promoted team, plan A is always stay alive, stay in the Prem. And they're well above that. Like definitely that Wolves Leeds game was kind of unfortunate because we got Meslier with the own goal off the bar and off his back into his own net. Literally like a FIFA Pro Clubs goal on the goalie. Couldn't do anything about that. But then they hit back today. Just to fast forward a little bit and not spend too much time on like those results, but they hit Southampton for 3 today, and the perfect trifecta of Dallas, Rafinha, and Bamford all getting on the score sheet, and that moves them for, I think, if I'm not mistaken, into the top half of the table. And that's a perfectly comfortable spot to be in if you're a Leeds United fan, because after so long, the most embarrassing thing is for you to finally get here and then go back down. So yeah, I don't think anyone would have expected them to be like, pushing for maybe a European spot. Whether they're capable of that or not, I'm not going to get into. That's for a Leeds fan to answer. But my take is Plan A was survive, and I think they're well clear of that. I think they are.
I mean, unless you're Marco, that you put them in the top 4 automatically the first year they're back. But I don't think they should be worried about this year. I think they should be worried next year. Bielsa only signed for this year. Next year or next season.
Oh, that's right.
Up in the air. Unless he resigns, but I don't think he will. I don't know.
And even Bielsa, you never know what's going to happen. He can just literally just get up and leave the next day. That's the kind of person who he is. He's so just kind of, I guess, just sporadic. I don't know. It's hard to control him, but I kind of read him. But I mean, he's a genius, I guess you could say, at the end of the day. But yeah, Leeds go 10th place. They jumped Arsenal. Arsenal now in 11th. Wolves in 12th. So Leeds have been looking like you said, Diego, surviving is the name of the game for them this season, and they've been doing it very well. The next game we have here was Southampton and Chelsea, and I think the biggest takeaway from this was Hudson-Odoi coming on for 20 minutes or something like that and getting subbed off. Now, not to go way too far away from the game, but as players and as a coach, do you think Tuchel is playing a fine line right now by already kind of, I guess, making himself known, and even if you watch the interviews, taking the credit for when they do good things, not giving it to the players like other coaches do? So is Tuchel playing a fine line with these Chelsea players, knowing how that locker room can quickly go sour? And he's only there for 18 months, I think, too. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'll answer first because I saw the same thing happen with Moise Kean when Everton played United last season. And I remember the very first thing that came out of a lot of people's mouths was how embarrassing that was for a talent like Moise Kean to be yanked off by Duncan Ferguson, who wasn't even their permanent manager. He was caretaker at the time. So we fast forward almost a year and change, 14 months, I think. And he's scoring, albeit with PSG, but he's scoring in Champions League against Barcelona. And now you look back and you're like, wow, that was ridiculous. Like, this guy got axed after not even 20, 25 minutes that he was on. And then the same thing with Tuchel. I've seen, of course, I know it doesn't speak for everybody, and I'm not trying to generalize either, but I've seen quite a bit of sentiment from some Chelsea fans, at least online, some of the chatter, that they don't mind that. Apparently they don't mind it. And they're happy with Tommy T showing some sort of, I guess, ruthless edge by yanking off Hudson-Odoi after 30 odd minutes. And then on top of that, in the press, like in the post-match presser, he wasn't even nuanced about it. Like, he wasn't gentle about it. He's like, yeah, I'm telling him what to do. He didn't want to listen to me. I didn't like his attitude. I didn't like his body language, was the exact quote. He's like, so I took him off. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, this is someone that Chelsea fans and other fans, of course, neutrals maybe, would look at Hudson-Odoi like a talent. Like, he has a lot of promising days ahead of him, and he gets embarrassed in front of everybody like that. Obviously, in hindsight, we're looking at today, they played Champions League. Hudson-Odoi was there the whole 90 minutes. It looked like maybe he gave him his time. I remember seeing something like that in the Spurs documentary where Mourinho subbed off Eric Dyer, and then literally, I think it was like later on in that episode, he's chatting with Daniel Levy, and he's like, yeah, I have to make it up to Erik and let him play the next game because he's like, I screwed him over. So apparently managers are they know what they're doing. And I think for Tuchel to come out and be like, yeah, I didn't like his attitude, that's why I took him off. Man, I felt bad, to be honest. I felt bad for Hudson-Odoi, but I don't know what maybe Marco or Dyer would have their opinion on this, because if that were me and if that were my player, I'd be pretty mad. This manager hasn't even been here for a whole month, and he's already treating players like that.
Yep. I mean,
to be honest, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if if I was in Hudson-Odoi's shoes, that would just motivate me to do better. That would just motivate me. It'll anger myself. I wouldn't be angered at my coach or at my teammates. I'll be angered with myself and push myself to do better. And because I will feel like I know I have the potential. I know I have the talent to be part of this club. I'm part of this. I've been part of this club for years, and I can't let a coach kind of like belittle me. But I'm gonna take his words and use it as my motivation. I'm gonna be like, I appreciate his opinion. I appreciate his critics, but I'm gonna prove him wrong, and I'm gonna show him what I got. So I'm hoping that Hudson-Odoi is motivated after what Tuchel did to him. But at the same time, I don't want Hudson-Odoi to look for a grudge or resentment or all that kind of stuff, and put negativity to it. I want him to put positivity into it. So if I were in his shoes, I'll use that as a motivation and not try to go against my coach.
Marco, you think that's a motivator, dude?
It could go both ways. It really depends on the mentality of the player. He can take this very, very to heart, and instead of motivate him, it can actually bring him down, and he can bring other players down with him. That at the long run will affect the whole team. On the other side, like Josue was saying, it can motivate him and basically burn a fire on his ass and say, you know what, I can't fuck around. This is a new coach. He just got here. I gotta show him what I got. So we'll find out. We'll see in the next couple of games, or by the end of the season, what it is. Is it gonna be a motivator? Or is this just going to add him another player to the bench with us?
Well, I wish more Chelsea fans would jump on the bench with us, but again, that's just beating a dead horse. Or as Nico said, beating a dead horse with a stick multiple times. I don't know why he said that, but Nick, I hope you heard that. So Chelsea drew against Southampton 1-1, which if you're a Chelsea fan, you're probably upset about that. If you're a Southampton fan, you're probably not too mad because they have been on a somewhat iffy run of games recently after they've been on a freaking high. So good on them for getting the point. We'll see how that transitions into this week coming up. The other game we had this weekend also was Burnley West Brom, which ended 0-0. Snooze fest, if I might say myself. But
Battle relegation.
Relegation battle. But let's save the Liverpool Everton because that was on Saturday. Let's save it for the end because that I think is gonna. It's a lot to talk about in that game alone. Fulham lost to Sheffield 1-0. West Ham, Tottenham, Ayer. Now let's talk about the team that has the best coaching staff, second to none.
I think that's my cue to leave. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been a terrible, terrible run for Tottenham and West Ham. They are a really good team now. I don't know what came out of David Moyes. Like what like should United have kept him longer? I don't know. Like from before. But I mean, West Ham has been a tough team throughout the season. I mean, we pick up players from West Ham for our fantasy, like Souček and Cresswell. But Tottenham, they just been in poor running form, very poor. And I just feel like, my opinion, is just the Mourinho's tactics does not work in the Premier League anymore. He's already done it twice with Chelsea. He's done it once with United for a few seasons, and now he's bringing it to Spurs. I mean, come on. I feel like the coaches in the Premier League and all the teams in there will notice that, like, of the way you play, where your weakest points are. And right now on our team, our weakest points is in the center back position. And actually all of the back line, even our goalkeeper. I feel like it's a time for a change with Hugo Lloris. I think he needs to go. And I know of a certain goalkeeper that isn't too happy of not starting and not getting playing. And I see that face, Diego. You already know who I'm talking about.
Don't you dare fucking touch him.
Dean Henderson.
Don't you dare
Dean
touch
Henderson.
him.
So I'm already talking about transfers. We definitely need more players in the back line and definitely a better creative midfielder. We have too many center attacking mids. Dele Alli, Lamela, Lo Celso, who's injured, Dombele, just too many. And in the West Ham game, Tottenham played very poor in the first half. Once Gareth Bale came into the second half, I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe somebody broke his golf club, but he turned it up. He turned it up. To me, he was the man of the match in the second half, in the entire second half. And he provided, the assist. And he scored in the Europa League last week. So I don't know what happened. He's slowly getting into Mourinho's team, but I'm just still not happy with the tactics. I don't know why he keeps playing Dyer. He keeps messing up in the center back position. Alderweireld should be replaced. He's a veteran, but I'm not happy with the result. But at the same time, I kind of expected it because Tottenham are just not doing it very well in the Premier League.
Now, I guess my only question to you is Mourinho gone at the end of the season?
Well, here's the thing. I've been talking to a couple of patients from my job, and there's this one guy. He's actually a United fan, big United fan, and he always trash talks me. And then he asked me what my opinion about Mourinho is, and I told him,
"Are you sure he's not Diego with a mask on?"
It's not. It's not, because this guy is very tall, and Diego, I'm sorry, you're not there, my man.
I'm not there. It's all good. It's all good.
Reach for the stars.
But he asked me the same question as you, and I told him my opinion is I think Daniel Levy wants to see what Mourinho does in the EFL Cup final against Man City. Mm-hmm. See if we actually could win that small teacup of a silverware, and also see how far we can go in the Europa League. Right now, we beat Wolfsberger of Austria in the first leg of the Europa League. We face them again this Thursday, so at home this time. Well, yeah, I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you want to ask?
I don't know if you know, or any of you know, was when Poch got sacked, was he on a worse run than Mourinho is now?
I don't think so.
No,
it
wasn't.
So Mourinho is on a worse run now than Poch was when he got sacked.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel
wasn't sure.
Poch, he was in a bad run, but definitely not worse than what Mourinho is right now.
Champions League final, so I mean, kind of hard to.
And now look at Poch; he's doing pretty well at PSG, demolishing Barcelona. And his connection and Poch's connection with Mbappe, it just felt like right there. But I'm saying if Mourinho does not get Tottenham into Champions League, either by completing in the top 4 of the Premier League or winning the Europa League, he's getting sacked.
It has to be a top 4. Europa League is ours this year.
What are you talking
funny
about?
Because all 4 of us have a team in the Europa League.
Yeah, definitely.
That is
best
funny.
European competition.
Let's go, man. How the turntable. But yeah, man, Spurs are on a bad run. Right, we'll see they turn things around this week. And who do you guys have this weekend coming up? I know Diego mentioned.
So we play home to Burnley and away at Fulham.
Not easy games. Don't let the position on the table fool you. But West Ham, I think a big changing factor for them is the one and only Diego's favorite player, Lingardinho.
Yo, man, that call was hilarious, dude. That on TalkSport, that was. I keep playing that shit over in my head. He's a new man. I'm happy for him. He deserves to play.
Do you think he's going back to United? And if he does, is he find his way back into the starting lineup?
No, I don't think so. I think he's definitely making the most out of his time at West Ham because he's aware that he doesn't fit in that United squad. And especially if whatever rumors are true, I know they're just rumors and not worth much, but looking ahead and seeing the names that are, I guess, like on the wish list for United, Lingard doesn't fit there. Not even as like a squad player. You have players that are doing that right now, like Dan James, who is getting a few games, scoring a few goals, doing exactly what he was bought for, being a squad player. Unfortunately, there are very limited spots to do that, There can only be so many benchwarmers on one team. You know what I mean?
We got 4
so I think Lingard is very aware of that, and he probably is looking to show up as much as he can right now, so he could secure some sort of a switch to a decent team. I don't know. they're looking at maybe keeping him for long term. I read for West Ham. I guess he's just a player that Moyes trusts or likes how he plays. Is definitely paying off with how he's playing, especially with the latest result. I think that's the most that you can ask for a signing like that.
Yeah, definitely. So West Ham walk away with all 3 points, putting them in top 4 now. So we'll see. That race is just crazy. That top 4 race is crazy. The other game we have here is Aston Villa Leicester. Leicester walking away with the 3 points and no Grealish. Now, did you guys hear the report about somebody apparently leaking the news that Grealish was injured and what's his name? What's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. The coach.
Who, the coach?
Yeah,
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith. How he says whoever leaked it is gonna make him pay for it or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was it's actually fantasy related, so kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but there are some bots that the fantasy community use, just for pure, information purposes, nothing nefarious. They're not controlling people's teams, but a lot of the people that play fantasy are aware that actual players like Bamford, for example, he said in one of his post-match, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that he's like, oh yeah, I captained myself like on my fantasy team, which is pretty funny because it's a way for these guys to like unwind, have fun with it, whatever. However, the bots picked up that several insiders, some of Grealish's teammates and one of the head physios at Aston Villa, transferred him out early from their teams. And this was prior to Friday last week. So I think it was like around like midweek. So like it was like around like maybe Monday night, Tuesday afternoon. By Thursday, almost everybody knew that Grealish wasn't going to play. And that became a problem because obviously Dean Smith wanted to keep that under wraps because that probably affected how Leicester lined up for that game. If you notice, they played both Timothy Castagne and Ricardo Pereira on the same side and overloaded that side that Grealish would have been in. Maybe it was to prepare against him, or maybe it was to take advantage of the fact that he wasn't going to be on that left flank. And so overloading on the right, those two guys were going crazy. Ricardo Pereira had like 3 or 4 shots for a fullback. It was nuts. But anyway, back to the main point. They banned fantasy now for Aston Villa players, which sucks.
It's gonna happen to all players though.
It's gonna happen to all players, I think, eventually. Fantasy Premier League is managed by Premier League, like the association, the league itself. They've never gotten involved with it that much. But unfortunately now with this negative side to it, I have a feeling they're going to come up with some sort of restriction or ban, which at the end of the day, I already said it kind of sucks because, it could be a way for them to blow off steam. So unfortunate ending.
Yeah, but that's crazy to hear how a fantasy game that we play amongst each other affects the actual game.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that, but
yeah.
The next game we have here is, unfortunately, Marco, we gotta talk about this now, is the Arsenal 0, Man City 1 at the Emirates. You wanna go in your soapbox first and then let your heart out?
Man, I mean, what can we say? I mean, I'm happy that it's only 1-0. It does suck that it was so early on in the game, and then we're just playing catch up, and we had our moments, and I know they dominated the whole game. But at the same time, it was 1-0. I don't want to say I'm happy, but I'm okay with the result. I was hoping for more, expecting this. I was hoping for at least a tie, but the way that we've been playing and the way that Man City has been playing, and the fact that De Bruyne was back and he started off the game, and I mean, it is what it is. I don't see this one as a bad or something bad. I just want them to dust it off, know that they did everything they could against them, and then move on to the next game. It was a little different, the lineup. Pepe did start. We saw Smith Rowe on the bench. We discussed this on our chat. Odegaard got to start as a cam. So there was some movements, and then we for the first time used the extra
Concussion.
sub because of concussion. Holding came out, and then David Luiz came in. So overall, I mean, again, I think we had our moments, and we could have definitely scored, but this one wasn't it.
Yeah. I agree with a lot what you said. Some of the things I don't really necessarily agree with. I don't think that Man City necessarily dominated the whole game. I think there was moments where Arsenal definitely dominated the possession of the ball, which is why the possession went from like 80% from 80-20 to like almost 50-50 at one point, which is kind of surprising against Man City. I mean, I would assume, but I think it was like ended like 44 or something like that possession wise. But as far as the performance goes, I was actually okay with how he played, at least defensively. Yes, the first goal was a complete slip up, and even Arteta said it, and the players said it themselves. They lost focus, and that one moment is you're gonna pay the price. Sterling got away from holding, and perfect. He was in no man's land. The smartest guy in the field getting a header. That's not supposed to happen at all, but it happened. But luckily, we did see Holding step it up and arguably have one of the best defensive stats on the pitch that day. Unfortunately, he did walk out with the concussion protocol. But I wasn't too, as I guess you could say, scared. I think we did pretty well. We kind of held our own. We had our chances. Aubameyang is still not firing on all cylinders. He's not there. It must be something with Arsenal and giving big wage packages to players that just completely demoralize them or just take away all their powers. I don't understand it. I'm hoping he finds his shooting boots again, and he can whip out the Black Panther mask or something. But he is not himself. I would honestly bench him at this point and give other kids a chance. But
Like
I'm
who?
again, who?
Yeah.
Martinelli. I would actually start Pepe. Saka. My front line right now, honestly, would probably be Lacazette up front, Saka on the left, ESR in the middle, and on the right between Pepe and Odegaard. That'd be up front. I drop Aubameyang. He's just not doing it. He just if he's not doing it, you have to give somebody else a chance to do it, because dude, he had a hat trick in how many games? It's been a while. Like he's just not the same Aubameyang from last year, but it is what it is. I'm tired of saying I'm seeing the progress. I'm just gonna wait until our time comes, which hopefully as Marco says, at some point in the future, right? But I'm done I'm not gonna be that fan that says I want change now. I want to see success now, because I know that's not realistic. You can see in that game that Man City are still 3-4 years ahead of not only us, almost every other team in the league, including Liverpool. And yes, they are riddled with injuries, but still. I think this is more what happened there.
No, we all sound depressed as fuck about our teams right now.
It's like I'm not I get what you're saying. I'm not depressed.
I am.
No, I mean, yeah, because you guys were on a good form. You guys were freaking winning the league already.
Yeah.
I just want top 4. I don't want the league. I want top 4 right now. Just give me top 4, and then we'll talk about the next step. But the way we've started the season, the way we've been playing this entire season is so inconsistent. Once we can find our consistency, then I'll start preaching to the high heavens that we're back. But until then, I'm tired of saying, I see the progress. I'm just happy, like Marco said, it wasn't a blowout as it usually is against a team like Man City. But yeah, just gotta brush this game off and take it to Benfica. Our only chance of the Champions League, honestly, I think our Europa top 4 is, in my opinion, out of reach. So Benfica, we're coming for you, Europa. Sorry guys, but I'm hoping we are taking everything the whole lot on this one. But we'll see what comes. There's like no. On the other side of the coin, Man City. They're just so good, man. They just have so many players. They're so deep. And Ruben Diaz was the signing of the season for them.
I think of the Premier League, the signing of the Premier League.
Yeah, for this season, yeah, I would agree with that.
For this season, yeah.
For this season, yeah.
Yeah, man, it just blows my mind how one player can change an entire team. Bruno Fernandes, Virgil van Dijk,
William.
He's on the bench, chill. He didn't play this game finally, and we still lost. Maybe he should have played.
I mean, no, we would have won 2-0
then. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Diego, Arsenal don't have that player that can just turn the game on his head. It was Aubameyang last season. I don't know who it is. Hey, there's Ace, guys. You can see Ace one behind me. But yeah, man, Man City just have so much depth on that side. They are how many points clear from the top now?
10.
10.
Is it safe to say it's done and dusted?
No.
I don't know, man. I based on how they're playing, yes, it's probably done. But because of the ridiculous results we've seen this season, it looks like City has been like fixture proof against that. But if you think about it, like they got squashed by Leicester City at the beginning of the season. Like everybody forgot about that all of a sudden. And the thing is that they've been playing so well that you don't think about the fact that they lost. What was it, 5-2? They got smacked. And every team has gone through a ridiculous result like that. So I don't know. Will it come to the point where they mess up and they'll need to drop points in maybe 3 to 4 matches in order for something to change? I don't think so. But can it be a little bit closer? I wouldn't be surprised. So as far as running away with it, they definitely deserve it because they're clear of every team, like you said. Just how they're performing defensively, no strikers, no creation from De Bruyne, and they have ridiculous players stepping up to do their jobs, which sucks to see. But again, they're at the top for a reason with a cushion.
And that puts them, I think, at 18 games, one straight in a row. So now they
have
18
wins in a row.
The Premier League record, unfortunately, but that's Man City. That's what Pep does, and that's what money can do for you too. Now, let's see what else we have here. All right. The other game we have here. Now, this is business as usual. Manchester United getting the 3 points, man. I want to say maybe second half of the season, United have been just so dominant, so consistent now.
Yeah.
Diego, do you want to, I guess, just tell us some good things you liked and maybe some things that you didn't like that you saw from this game?
2 things I liked was being able to actually control the game after being tied. What happened in the reverse fixture against Newcastle, it was 1-1 for a very long time. And then it was a flurry of goals in like the last 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. For this one, it was a bit different. We were able to get the deadlock broken with Dan James scoring a nice toe poke. Bruno being inevitable, scoring. And the second thing that I do like is Shola making his debut. I like that a lot. I think that's what was it? It was a ridiculous number. Well, I think it was like 13. I think that's 13 or something like that. Academy graduates that Solskjaer has promoted already to the first team, which is ridiculous considering that he's been there just for his second season. So I think that's pretty cool to look forward to. One thing I didn't like was De Gea. One thing I didn't like was De Gea not coming out. There was a video that was circulating comparing Henderson coming out for a ball against Sociedad, and he handled it well. Like it was a cross coming in, he came out of his 6-yard box, grabbed it, took control, threw it right out for a counter. Same passage of play, the cross came in and De Gea stayed back. Maguire, unfortunately, even though he tried to head it backwards to clear it, fell right to St. Maximin and it was a goal. So there were a lot of questions asked. And then like Josue was saying, the reports came out that Dean Henderson was apparently upset or not happy with the fact that if it continues into next season that he's not number one, he's going to look to be number one. And looking at a very prime example with Emiliano Martinez and how he chose to do that for himself, I'm pretty sure if we asked him, he would have loved to have done that 5 years ago. And probably people are telling Dean Henderson, listen, these are your prime years. You better get into a team that's going to give you 90 minutes every week. So I don't want him to leave, especially not to a subpar franchise with crippling debt. But I would like Dean Henderson to maybe get a run. Do I want De Gea to be dropped immediately? No, because obviously there's a soft spot for him. He's been at the club already a decade it's going to be. So those players have deserved every bit of respect for what they've done for the club. But again, it would be nice to have that transition. The same way that Van der Sar was allowed to ease out and De Gea to come in, it would be nice if Dean Henderson got that same treatment because I think we have a great goalkeeper there. So one thing I didn't like, De Gea hesitating and conceding that goal. Two things I liked was being able to control the game and giving the debut to the young guy. I'm glad that they were able to score, put the game away, because dropping points to West Brom and Sheffield was definitely that kind of bump. We didn't need it because we have very difficult games coming up against Chelsea and against City. So it's a good thing. And then playing against Sociedad like that, I think it's a good way to kind of bring on that challenge for those next two matches.
Fair point. So we'll see what Europa looks for all of us, I guess, at this point going forward. The last game we had, which I was actually today. Brighton versus Crystal Palace, which I didn't watch, but I heard that there was a phenomenal slide tackle done today, which I wish I could have seen from a defensive point of view. But the only game we haven't talked about. Now, for many, it's a surprise. What's not a surprise is that there's no Liverpool fan on today. And I'll tell you why. Because the result is Everton 2, Liverpool 0. And not only is that the scoreline, it happened at Anfield. Hold on. The fortress. So, I don't know how much of a fortress it really is, but what I can say is that Ancelotti has turned this team around. And give me 2 seconds. If one of you guys want to pick that up, I got to let my dog outside because he's crying right now.
I'll pick it up because I know all three of us right now, we're happy as hell that they took that L. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait for Erik to come back. Give me a second. I am happy about Everton, and officially, I have to say, even though he didn't do much for this game specifically, James Rodriguez, you now have 6.5. It wasn't on him, but I'll give you the 6.5.
When he's right, when he's wrong, he's wrong. And he was wrong. Guys, he was wrong this time. Just go.
I mean, I rooted for him to win. I rooted for Everton to win this game, so I'm happy to give the 6.5, which
I think we all rooted for Everton to win the game.
And Marco, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Ray Charleston got the goal. So
yeah,
maybe they need each other. They need each other. We need each other. All right. They need each other. We need each other. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Man, yo, dude, this game, who did I watch it with? Did I watch it alone? I watched it alone. Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched it alone. You guys saw my video when I posted up. Ironically, I'm just doing.
Yeah, actually, no. You should tell us about that. Tell us about that.
I'm sitting right there on that little bench right there with my legs just posted up on the TV thing. And I was like, all right, let me just make a video real quick, just troll Thiago for how many thumbs up he gives. And as soon as I hit record, bro, James puts that ball in through Ray Charleston, and I'm like, oh shit! They talk about perfect timing. Like I was like, I was damn, bro, that's crazy. The timing of that was impeccable, but for Liverpool to look so bad, it's just mind-boggling how a team that looked so good, when they were building their team around Klopp and around Van Dijk, around Mane, Salah, to all of a sudden have this quick of a downfall. I can't think that it's just not having Van Dijk or all the injuries. Yeah, they are riddled with injuries. No excuse about that. But I mean, not this bad though. To be sixth place, I think it is now, out of Europa.
I think it's their own fault because they invested on the starting 11. They never really worried about the rest of them. And this was eventually going to happen. The starting 11 wasn't going to always be there. You had to have plan B and C. And apparently they didn't really have it. And yes, they had their moments. And throughout the season, we've seen that they've been able to win a game here and there or walk over with the tie just to save some points. But now Hendo got injured. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be out for. It is a groin injury, so it could be for 4 to 6 weeks. I haven't heard anything yet. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I really think this is their own fault. They should have been preparing for this. They should have been looking to see who's going to be the replacement of who. and they didn't, and now they are where they are because they didn't do something. They didn't
They
do something
didn't
that every team
plan it
should be
for.
doing, which is having a
Yeah.
plan B.
So what you're saying, they didn't have sustainability.
Not at all.
They
Not in
didn't. They
my
didn't
eyes.
invest in their benchwarmers.
So for all you listening and watching, invest in yours. Give us a follow. Give us a like. That's all we ask for. We don't ask for money. We ask for likes, comments, and your contribution. That's all we want. But that you're trying to make a point.
I was just gonna say that, like, in this past transfer window, Liverpool made desperate signings instead of, like, actually taking the time, the last transfer window in the summer, to actually look for players to have as in their B squad and in the reserves to potentially be part of that starting 11. But no, they made two desperate signings from a player from Preston North End. What was his name? Davies?
Ben Davies.
Yeah. And I forget the other one. Klavan? Is that his name?
Ozan
Kabak. So these are desperate signings. Two young guys who have never seen or experienced the Premier League before. So yeah, Liverpool. That's where they choke. That's where they choke with their depth. And that's it.
So aside from player depth, experiences, Diego, I know you're a freak for tactics and all that. Do you think Klopp has changed anything at all with that team, or has he been kind of riding that horse till the horseshoes fall off and I'm making
No, a lot of people have been pointing that out. A lot of people have been pointing out that if you play the same system with the same squad players every week for 3 years, not only are your players going to get injured, people are going to figure it out. And like, okay, I contradict myself looking at managers like Ferguson, like Wenger, who are around for decades. People can argue, okay, well, what about them? They probably must have used the same tactics. Well, no, they adapted. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. They saw what they had and they adapted. There's countless examples for both of those mentioned managers where they had there was one very famous lineup Ferguson put out with 8 freaking defenders and 2 forwards. And he won that game. He played both of the De Silva twins. He had, I don't know who else he put in there. I could probably come up with it later.
Light years ahead of Mourinho then.
And he won that game. I think he only had Rooney and Chicharito up front. That was it.
Talking about fucking parking the bus.
For real.
Man, ahead of Mourinho, bro. Ahead of his
And the thing is that and then he had Evra. Dude, it was crazy. So the thing is, though, that he was able to identify in certain players qualities that would let them adapt to a system to win that game. I'm only going to read out a quote because I don't have to say anything myself, because I think someone who is definitely much more qualified to speak on the matter, and that was Jamie Carragher, who spoke on Sky Sports, and he said, listen, I don't want to hear about Van Dijk. He said, I'm sick of talking about Virgil van Dijk, and I mean that without him, Liverpool can't win the league. They can't win the league with Van Dijk being out the whole season. That's the big picture. However, he did add, but the problems Liverpool have with the center backs out and midfielders at center back doesn't mean that they can't win at home in games against Everton, Brighton, Burnley, West Brom, Manchester United maybe. And he says, he adds on at the end, Manchester City are real top quality. He's making a point. It's not an excuse for individual games. Like, no matter what problems you have, there is no excuse for having not just 4 losses in a row, but 6 consecutive losses at home. They haven't won at home yet in the last 6 games. Like, here's the thing. They still have Salah, they still have Mane, they still have Firmino, they still have Origi. Like, even if you could do what Bielsa and Leeds are doing, even though they've conceded a crap ton of goals, they've scored the most out of the bottom half of the teams in the Premier League right now. Like, they're scoring because they know they get scored on. And instead of adapting to that, Klopp is like, nope, we're gonna buy 2 more center backs, we're gonna plug them right in there. They're not Van Dijk, but they're gonna do the same job. And Kabak in that Everton game, he got twisted inside out just on that pass, on that 10-star quality pass by James to Richarlison for the first goal. He got turned inside out. And that's what I'm saying. If your own legend is saying that you have no excuses for what your run of form has been, I think they have to kind of look at themselves and say, okay, there's something that we could be doing here to address the problem. Other teams have had injuries, and we said already, City have had injuries. They decided to adapt. Okay, instead of blowing out teams 5-0, 6-0, we're gonna beat teams 1-0 or maybe 2-0 and call it a day. Defend creatively, attack when we can. They still, even though the Arsenal game, it was 1-0, they still had twice the amount of shots. They had 15 shots that game because they're just peppering the ball, because they know how to move it around. The pass count was, I think, about the same, and you're absolutely right. The possession evened out by the end of the match. It was like 45-55, something like that. But again, the whole point here, like the biggest underline is adaptation. They've adapted. And Liverpool, I think maybe it's down to Klopp being too stubborn, but that's my whole spiel on it. Carragher already highlighted it for all the Liverpool fans out there that want to listen to someone who's definitely qualified on the subject. This is your legend talking about you guys not being good enough to beat West Brom and Burnley and Brighton and all these other teams comfortably. You still have a ridiculous attack. You might as well use it.
To your point, dude, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the first time Liverpool lose to Everton at home since 1999, if I'm not mistaken, and lose consecutively at home since 1923.
23, yeah.
Okay, so I got those dates right. That's a stat that they do not want to, be breaking, but they broke it. So it's been a crazy, crazy season for the champions. We'll see how the season ends and if they can get into top 4, which doesn't look too likely, especially with Everton tied on points and still a game in hand.
Mhm.
So can Everton play spoils and jump Liverpool? We will see. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's all we got for today.
Anything is possible. It's the fucking Premier League.
Anything is possible. Did you ever watch the NBA Finals when Garnett was anything is possible? Remember that? No?
No.
Basketball fans out there? Okay.
No.
Well, I guess I'm just talking about
Before we log off, I'm just gonna say one thing.
One thing only?
No. It's in regards to Klopp. Just to continue, I just feel like his attitude has definitely changed, but not in a positive way, in a negative way. He's been pointing a lot of fingers to other teams, other coaches. He's been, I don't know. What was that?
To VAR?
Yeah.
To the wind, to the grass?
Basically, Klopp, he's just been negative, and if you add that negativity, you're just gonna put that negativity to your team, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all. I mean, we're enjoying it, of course, all of us. I mean, I just wish, I could speak for Erik and Marco, that our teams are above them, and we can enjoy this a little bit more. But that's just my opinion, my comment about Klopp and Liverpool.
I'm happy you brought that up, the whole thing about VAR. And just one quick question, and I don't want to go for another 20 minutes. I just want to just yes or no. Was that a penalty?
Yes.
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 Marco?
Yes.
You hesitated.
A little
But okay.
Well, we had a long-winded discussion on that on our chat. So if any of you out there listening or watching wanna, I guess, challenge our thoughts on that, please message us. Let us know in the comments down below. Oh, I'm rhyming now. Look at that. Or shoot us a message through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, BenchWarmers. All that being said, I think we can end tonight's episode. I know we went over 30 minutes, but as usual, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. Please, we want you to join the bench. And we are the BenchWarmers, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
Good night.